All right, team, we're doing another round of TikTok reactions. All of these are going to be based on low T, so let's dive right in.
How you know if you have low testosterone. And a lot of young males these days are actually suffering from low testosterone. The first test, do you wake up with your soldier saluting you like there's no tomorrow? Is there a tent in your bed, or are you waking up to a soft noodle? If it's a soft noodle, your testosterone levels are definitely very low.
I don't
Second
know about
of all,
that,
do you
buddy.
have a very high testosterone? Can you have 2-3 times a day? Or is once pushing the envelope?
2 to 3 times a day. Who is
guys
this
that
guy?
have high free testosterone, effort feels good. They want to train. They get excited to lift weights, to box, play sports. If for you, going to the gym, lifting some weight is a drag and exhausting, your testosterone is low.
All right, so this guy's making a lot of absolute claims, and what he's saying isn't exactly false, but medicine is all about gray areas, and this is why it's so important where you get your medical information, because very few things are absolute. So, first off, if you don't wake up with morning erections, it doesn't guarantee your testosterone levels are low. Now, this guy clearly, given how beefy and young he looks, is talking to like the 20-year-old crowd. Yeah, there were more days than not I woke up with as, what did he call, the pitching a tent in the morning instead of the soft noodle, I guess, whatever. But, as you get older, morning erections are not always a guarantee. So yes, it can be a warning sign. The other things he talks about are, dragging in the gym. There could be a lot of other things playing a role. You could have a bad diet. You could be sleeping poorly and still have adequate T levels. So I think this video is really geared towards young guys and sets this expectation. Like, if you're not having sex 2 to 3 times a day, something's wrong with you. Like, come on, man. Like, this is just not, it's maybe slightly helpful, but overall, I think he's just setting some crazy expectations for folks. So let's go on to the next video.
Look at your hand. If your ring finger is shorter than your pointer finger, you're genetically predisposed to have lower testosterone levels.
Oh shit, I'm
good.
good.
This is called the 2D to 4D ratio. If none of these apply to you, these are signs that you probably have low testosterone, but I wouldn't freak out. Bro, treat it like a game. You should be trying to max out your testosterone naturally.
This guy is intense. He is on a lot of testosterone.
This is one of my favorite ways.
All right, well, I'm glad my ring finger and index finger are the right ratio. I can't say off the top of my head I know that data per se, but you can't do anything about like the size of your fingers. They are what they are. So, I'm not sure what this guy's getting at other than trying to plug whatever supplement he's hawking. So interesting. I'll have to look up that study, but I wouldn't go looking at your hand and worrying whether or not you have low testosterone or not. You should really go based on your symptoms. How are you feeling? And again, all these young cats on TikTok are all about sex and bedroom. And yes, that's important, but hands down, the number one reason guys come to see me for low T and the number one thing that gets better is up here: brain fog and mental clarity and their mood. Those are the things that really matter to guys, especially as we get into our 30s and 40s. So let's see the next video.
3 months ago, I got my testosterone levels checked. I came up as 116 nanograms a deciliter. So I've been trying to naturally boost my testosterone levels by doing a vitamin D3 megadose, eating red meats, avoiding those plastic meal prep containers. I've been taking a lot of supplements, and I switched up my diet as well a little bit. It's been 3 months since I've gotten my testosterone levels checked until today. I just got my new test results, so here they are. 307 nanograms a deciliter. Yep. Still pretty low, but in the span of 3 months, I boosted my testosterone levels by almost 200 nanograms a deciliter. I'm going to keep up with the diet that I'm doing right now. I'm going to keep doing everything I'm doing right now. I'm going to try new stuff as well. I'm basically going to be documenting my entire testosterone transformation. How am I going to build muscle like a man if I have testosterone levels like a female? I'm going to do whatever it takes. If you guys have any suggestions or tips, drop them in the comments for me.
All right. So, pretty interesting story and great transformation. And obviously, anecdotal evidence, we got to take with a grain of salt. We don't know with certainty what this guy's putting in his body. And just because he got those results, I mean, he looks pretty young. He's probably in his 20s. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get the same. First off, this guy absolutely needs a medical evaluation. If you're in your 20s and your total T levels are in the hundreds, you've got to go looking for some hormonal issues that could start up in your pituitary gland. There could be a lot of other things contributing beyond natural environmental stuff. Listen, he's 100% right. toxins, whether it's BPAs in plastics, eating crappy food, not sleeping, not having the right balance of micronutrients can absolutely kill your testosterone. But a guy in his 20s, his T levels should be in the 700-800. So even in 300, if he continues to delay things, potentially he could be causing his body harm. And I would absolutely work this guy up with more comprehensive labs than just checking a testosterone level. So I think it's pretty cool. I think it's great he's bringing awareness to other things, but I think this is a case where you still got to go work with a medical professional to see is anything else going on.
If you have low testosterone,
Damn, this guy
here's
is
the
jacked.
best movements to boost them.
All right, I'll listen
Low
to you,
T
buddy.
sucks. You don't even feel like a man. You're all depressed and shit. When it comes to building up your
Little tough love
testosterone
here.
levels, the first exercise I like to do is going to be some barbell squats. Now, barbell squats are very effective because your legs are the largest muscles in
That's
the body.
truth,
Now, while
absolutely.
doing it, you want to make sure you're putting some real heavy weight on there, but at the same time, remember, you want to do it safe. But you want to engage those
That's key.
muscles because the more you really engage them, that's going to help increase the testosterone. Number 2 is going to be some HIIT training, high intensity interval training. When it comes to your cardio,
Like it?
try doing some sprints and then go ahead and take a jog. What this does, it really helps with your oxygen and your blood flow, so your arteries and your veins can get more vascular, and that's going to help really boost up the testosterone level. And then lastly, if you're somewhere here like I am in Miami, train outside because you're getting the double boost of testosterone. You're going to get a lot of natural vitamin D that's going to really help boost
there's
up
a
your
limit to that,
testosterone
but
naturally. But while you're training
sure looks
outside, you're
more
also
fun
getting
being
that
in Miami
stress
outside
factor
lifting.
as well. If you want my help to help you boost up testosterone naturally, go ahead and comment down below vegan testosterone, and I'll go ahead and reach out to you to help you out.
So listen, this guy hits on a lot of excellent points. So number one, lifting weights can boost your testosterone levels for sure. Now it's not going to cure a guy who's really low, but it has to be part of the equation. I love that he talks about hitting the big muscle groups. Too many people are just doing the bicep curls or small muscle groups. You got to get the legs. How many guys you see at the gym are jacked up above the waist and they got these teeny toothpick legs? So squats are a great exercise. My only caveat, guys, as someone who's 48 and has been lifting most of his adult life is you got to be really careful with form. I would not recommend anybody just going out and starting squats without working with a trainer. Even for myself, I struggle with some shoulder mobility and I find that it just puts a lot of stress on my back. So I do things like hack squats, leg press, some machine deadlift. Things are a little bit safer there, but still work the big muscles. You want to throw in the chest and the back as well. He also mentioned high intensity interval training, whether that's sprinting, Peloton bike, things like that. I don't know if we got great data saying it's going to boost your testosterone, but it's great to improve your VO2 max, which is a sign of how cardiovascular healthy you are. And so highly recommended for just general overall health. His last claim about sunlight, sure, vitamin D is important, but they've done some studies, even of people in Florida, and most people in Florida are vitamin D deficient. So you got to balance that versus risk of skin cancer. So I hope bro here has some sunscreen on. Otherwise, Catherine's gonna yell at him. But I mean, he looks great. These are great tips. I can't find fault in general with what he's saying.
If you can't grow a beard, you have low testosterone. When I had low testosterone at 219 total testosterone, I could not grow facial hair to save my life. I was diagnosed with hypogonadism and I started on testosterone replacement therapy. And about 6 months into my treatment, my beard was going out of control. And this was super exciting for me because I was never able to grow facial hair before. So if
It
you
was
currently
not
can't
exciting
grow a beard,
for
I would
any
highly
woman in your
recommend
life,
getting your blood
trust me.
tested to see if you have low testosterone. The online clinic that I use can help you get a blood test done and determine if you have low T. And if you do have low T, they can help you get prescribed testosterone replacement therapy.
No offense to the guys with beards, but not all women like them. So shit, I can't grow facial hair. I never have. And I've had my T levels checked and they're fine. I did actually do TRT for a little bit and I could not grow more facial hair. So, that's a bit of a myth that's out there, guys. Now, obviously for him, it was related to hormone levels, but that's not, again, a black and white sort of statement. So again, healthcare is about the gray areas, and we just gotta be really careful with giving this very absolute advice of you can't grow a beard, you got low T. It's not exactly the case. Can some guys grow more facial hair when they go on T? Absolutely. But if you also go on too much, you can lose hair on top of your head. So this is where it's so important to work with professionals that know what they're talking about and can help guide you along the journey. But don't just look at one factor, whether it's finger size or beard presence, to say your T levels are low or not. Let's go to the next video.
If you were born around or after the year 2000, you're almost guaranteed to be a hormonal victim. I look at blood work for a living. I've seen thousands of blood panels, and it's a little bit concerning that 40-year-olds have better natural test levels than teenagers and 20-year-olds. Well, they're just not optimizing their health. Yeah, you gotta realize the
Who
older
is this
generation
guy? He's not even old enough to be a physician, so how's he looked at thousands of blood
higher
tests?
tests than you? I would know. I'm one of the people who suffered what I'm describing. This is 3 years after puberty. This is age 21. Can't grow any facial hair, limited facial masculinity, zero confidence. The fact that natural puberty is failing in young men is insane. This is only after a year and some change on testosterone. Didn't even take that long. Hopping on test is a serious consideration, so just do a lot of research. It might not be right for you.
Well, I certainly agree with that last statement that going on testosterone may not be right for you. So I appreciate a guy who's mitigated things. You know, you lose a little credibility when you say you're, 3 years after puberty and then only a year later you look that much different, and that you've looked at thousands of blood tests in your 20s. Like, what's your credentialing here? So, regardless, he brings up an excellent point that there are a number of environmental factors, whether it's the processed foods we're eating, whether it's being sedentary, whether it's our lack of social interactions that young people are now experiencing. There's a lot of different things where life for my kids and kids in their 20s looks very different than it did when I was there, and I'm 48, almost 50. So he's 100% right that things are changing. But again, these absolute statements that there are 20-year-olds and the 40-year-olds are all better. No, I know plenty of 40-year-olds have low T and plenty of 20-year-olds whose T is fine. It's not an all or none phenomenon. And we do see an age-related decline in total T levels. But I no doubt believe that this generation, likely due to obesity and sedentary lifestyle, they're going to have lower T levels than the generation before them, than the generation before them. So important to talk about these environmental factors. But again, these all or nothing things, whether it's about beards, finger sizes, how you look, it's not that simple, guys. So hopefully you found this helpful. If you're looking for an actual low T partner, someone who is a board certified urologist, who's been doing this for 17 plus years, who's actually looked at science and says the following 3 words very often, I don't know, then we might be a good fit. Anyone who's making absolute claims, you should really question what their medical knowledge is. It's not to downplay what these guys are doing. They could be offering some great stuff as well. But if you want someone a little bit more credible who can help you in your low T journey and just get checked out, look us up at Pozzona MD. Click on that subscribe button so you can catch our next round of videos. And once again, show yourself a little bit more love and kindness. We're all works in progress. These are opportunities to grow. Thanks and have a great day.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Balls Deep. If you'd like to join our stream team of listeners, please click the subscribe button on your favorite podcast platform. For more information about our practice, Pozzona MD, please visit pozzonamd.com. This podcast is for informational purposes only, and the content is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice. The show does not constitute the practice of medicine. No doctor-patient relationship is formed through this podcast or any of the social media channels related to this show. The use of this information is at the user's own risk. Users should not disregard or delay in obtaining medical advice from any medical condition they have, and they should seek the assistance of their healthcare professionals for any such conditions.